Come down to the Spring Fever Comedy Showcase at the Hidden History Museum on Saturday, April 13th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Get ready to groove to great music, indulge in complimentary dinners and drinks, and brace yourself for an uproarious comedy extravaganza featuring the comedic talents of Torrey Hart, Ron G, comedian CP, and many others, with dynamic boasting by Dwan B and Tariq. Don't miss out! RSVP now at hiddenhistorymuseum.com. That's hiddenhistorymuseum.com.
Make sure my microphone is on. How y'all doing there? Make sure you guys can hear me. Can y'all hear me straight? Everything good? Hope everybody's having a good evening so far. Just doing the late night tap in, checking in on the fam, seeing what you guys are up to. Hope you guys are starting your week off great. Hope you're going to have a productive week, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are guided by the Majara spirit. We're going to take some calls in a second. So those who want to get on, start raising your hand early. And just want to remind you guys, the movie Microphone Check will be in theaters next month. This is April. It's going to be in theaters May, the ending of May. Go to microphonecheck.com to get your tickets. And again, we're going to still add more cities to the website. There's about 4 more cities we're going to add. We got Detroit, Dallas, New York, LA, New Orleans, and DC on the website right now. So go to microphonecheck.com. What's up, Nikki the God? I see you, beloved. What's up, King Law? Let me get y'all in a second. Let me get King Law in. King Law look like he has an FOI guy in his thing. Let me get King Law in real quick. It looks like an FOI or a Nation of Islam cat in your profile picture. What's up, King Law? King Law? Oh no, that's not it. That's an NFL player. Okay. That just reminded me of something. Did y'all see, I posted a video earlier of down in Atlanta, some white dude tried to run up on a damn FOI dude. He tried to run up on one of them Fruit of Islam brothers who be out there on the corner with the bean pies. This fool thought it would be a good idea to run up on one of them brothers. Boy, he learned the hard way. That brother folded him up so damn heavy and socked him all the way out. And people are like, what the hell were you thinking? Listen, folks in the dominant society, here's a little FYI. Those brothers you see with the bean pies and the bow ties, don't talk yourself into doing no stupid ass stuff like running up on one of them dudes. That you see, there's a reason why black folks don't run up on them. I don't know what made y'all think that was going to turn out anyway in your favor. These are dudes who eat good and they sit here and practice all day on how they going to fold you up. So I guess the white boy must have sat there and, he wanted to go ahead and be the sacrificial lamb. The white boy talked himself into running up on one of them brothers. He has on a suit. What can he do? It's not like he can really move around in a suit and a bow tie and some dress shoes. I think I could take him. Man, you just don't understand. Those dudes are not the ones to roll up on. That's why I keep them brothers as security for me all the time. These brothers are not the ones to step to at all. These brothers got all types of moves. You don't even know what hits you, man. Lord. He knocked that white boy into the Game of Thrones. He thought he was in a whole different dimension. Where's my dragon? I need to ride my dragon to the castle, dude. He was confused. He didn't know what happened. All right, just a little FYI. Just don't run up on them brothers. That's not what you do. Y'all don't see us doing it, so that means you shouldn't be doing it either. I hope you guys checked out my last broadcast on my YouTube channel, Tariq Radio. You all should be following me on my Tariq Radio channel. My last episode I did yesterday, I talked about that Netflix show, that Good Times reboot, that disgusting, unfunny trailer, and that very unnecessary show. And I mentioned something, and I found out something later. I mentioned that one of the writers on the show, one of the initial people on the show, was Carl Jones, who worked with the Boondocks. And on my broadcast yesterday, I'm like, well, damn, Carl Jones, he's a funny brother, and I don't know how he's connected to this garbage. So that was kind of confusing me. I'm like, God, I mean, Carl he writes funny. He's a funny writer. I'm like, how in the world did he get clicked in with this mess? But then people pointed out a tweet that he put out. He put out a tweet the other day, like, hey, he said, he was on board initially when that cartoon was greenlit, but he saw it going into some weird direction. So he backed out. He backed out early. And he said the stuff we're seeing now, he ain't seen none of it. He ain't got nothing to do with it. That makes a lot of sense. So Carl Jones, who's a great comedy writer, and he's worked on a lot of these popular animation series, he had to pull out of that nonsense. He had to pull out of it. Now it makes sense. I'm telling you, man, that Good Times reboot thing, that's the purpose of that is to insult us. When these people in the dominant society, and it's white people behind it. Let's stop playing games. It's white people behind it. They do like little elaborate jokes. That's like a joke for them to take an iconic series like Good Times and to sully it up and to attach it to some complete buffoonery and nonsense. That's funny to them. They do little shit like that as a joke. Just like with Gabby Sidibe, they would do stuff with her. It was like an elaborate joke. And by the way, Gabby Sidibe has me blocked. That's very interesting. Um, but they would do little weird stuff with her, parade her around, and put her on fashion magazines as a model. That was like an elaborate joke for them. We got to understand why they do certain things like that. We got to understand that dynamic. The white supremacists are real weird with their little trollish jokes. And they like for their little trollish jokes to be very elaborate. You know? So you don't put stuff past these folks. They're very devious and deceptive. Speaking of television shows, have y'all been watching BMF? BMF, that's one of my favorite shows. Very good show. This new season, they got a character on here, this killer stud. That character to me is very unnecessary. To me, I don't know about y'all. That was kind of their way of crowbarring some LGBT stuff in there. They were going to do it one way or the other. I knew they eventually they were going to crowbar some kind of LGBT stuff in it. So they couldn't do it with a dude because I know Big Meech from jail would have been like, oh, hell no. He probably would have been, no, we ain't about to have no dudes doing whoop-de-whoop and whoop-de-whoop. So they said, okay, we'll just get a girl to do all the, freaky stuff. They got her running around with strap-ons, and she's basically a serial killer, and she's just real over the top. The character, I ain't feeling that character. It's too unrealistic. It's just, it's something that they clearly crowbarred in. So, it is it is what it is. Let me get some of these calls in here because we do have a lot of people, and I don't want to be up too late. Shad or Shad.
What's
Shad or
going on, Tariq?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good, man. What's on your mind?
I just have a quick question for you. Do you think that they intentionally leave you out of, the start of the whole self-improvement YouTube genre? Because you were doing this like back in '06. Like I could still go back to your videos today and still get game from them from like back in '06, '05, etc. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
just my question.
yeah. Well, they're gonna always take stuff that we did and then give white creators credit for it. So I'm kind of used to that. But a lot of y'all don't know. The people, some of you guys are new here. Do y'all know how long I've been around on these internet streets? Some of y'all don't really realize how long I've been around this thing. A lot of y'all don't know, and I really don't brag about myself too much, but the podcasting game, I was one of the early people doing podcast. The podcasting game, I started that in 2006. Some of y'all weren't even born. Family, y'all don't understand the classic MLeons Radio. Family, this is something that YouTube had just came out. YouTube had just came out, and some of y'all don't remember. And I got videos on YouTube from 2005. I got like a lecture that I did at Yale somewhere. And yeah, I've been around for a minute. I've been doing YouTube stuff for a minute, early on. And at the time, when YouTube first started, you could only put 15-minute videos on. So I couldn't even put my whole podcast on. When I started doing my podcast, there were not too many places to host it. We were kind of figuring it out because I couldn't host it on YouTube because my podcast would be like 30 minutes to an hour. Certain websites would charge a lot for bandwidth, so I would try to put it up on certain sites, and I get charged these real exorbitant rates. So then we kind of put my own website together, the MLeons Radio site, and we figured out how to put them up there. But yeah, man, we've been grinding at this thing with the podcast game since 2006. This is when MySpace, we used to promote it on MySpace. That's how long ago this was. And I used to roast cats left and right. But as far as relationship stuff, all that manosphere stuff that's popular now, doing that back in 2006. And what's interesting, the MLeons Radio show, it was supposed to be temporary. The only reason I did it because I wanted to promote a DVD that I had coming out. I had a DVD called MLeons. We had kind of a comical DVD, and that was the only reason I was doing it. I was going to do a podcast so I could promote MLeons DVD. But the podcast took off and became so damn popular. Hell, here we are 20 years later. Here we are. You know, it became extremely popular. And, we set a lot of precedents with that. Just dropping game and lacing callers with game. You know. So y'all can go to MLeonsRadio.com and listen to some of the archives. MLeonsRadio.com. I might have to do a whole documentary about MLeons Radio. It was classic stuff. Classic stuff. Classic roast on there. I used to roast a lot of people. There was a cat, one of the first cats I roasted was a dude named Payroll. Another dude I roasted was a dude named Ace Monkey. I made a mixtape about him, roasting him. Oh man, there was a person like who we think is a transgender who used to call up trolling all the time named Cassandra from Lipstick Alley. I used to roast Cassandra all the time. Yeah. And then we started early on with the video broadcast too, with Ustream. Before YouTube, they had Ustream. I started that around 2009. YouTube wasn't streaming. You couldn't do YouTube videos yet. They didn't have those capabilities. So we would do what people are doing with YouTube now on something called Ustream. And I don't even think they have Ustream no more. But Ustream, we would be on video and we bring other people on video and roast them and chop it up. And that was classic too. I got to find some of those Ustream broadcasts from back in the day too. We had a bunch of good characters from that. We had Mini Pimp, a little white boy called himself Mini Pimp, and we had the legendary Jay Slim. If you guys remember, y'all raise your hand if y'all remember the infamous poet Jay Slim from Ustream. There's been a running joke for over a decade and a half about this dude who was a poet who called into my Ustream broadcast, and he wanted to promote his poem book. And y'all probably heard me tell this story before. A dude named Jay Slim. He called up and he said, "Hey man, I got a poem book. I'm a poet. I'm an author just like you, and I got a book of poems. I'd like to promote my book." I'm like, "Absolutely. What's the name of your book, brother?" It's Blood from My Heart. I'm like, okay, that's a very interesting name, brother. What kind of book is that? He's like, "It's a book of poems." Okay. And when we started reading the poems from this book. This was the rapiest shit ever. It was creepy and rapey. It was disturbing as hell. And Jay Slim is a real nerdy looking brother. He looked like Norbit almost. He's real nerdy, but he had these real rapey poems. All the poems would start off normal and then it'd take a real hard left turn. And that became a running joke. That was classic. I wish I could find the original Jay Slim phone call. I got to start finding some of those archives. And last time I saw Jay Slim, he came to one of my lectures. That nigga got married. I saw him in Atlanta. This nigga had a wife. I'm like, oh Lord, sister, if you are in danger, blink twice. Like, how did this nigga get married to somebody? But yeah, shout out to Jay Slim. And shout out to everybody who was around during the Ustream and Mac Lessons days. Classic stuff. All right. Let me get some of these calls in here because we got a lot of folks trying to get on. Jay Slim, are you in here? We got to check in on Jay Slim every now and then. All right. Stay something. Stay somebody. What's your name? What's your name? Stay inspired. There it is. Stay inspired. Hop on. Somebody named Stay Inspired.
Hey, yo, Tariq.
What's up, Stay Inspired? How are you?
What's going on, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, man. I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
I've been listening to you for a minute, right?
Yes.
Are you Muslim?
I'm not.
Because you got a Muslim name, bro.
Yeah, that name could be perceived as Muslim.
So
But yeah.
how do we go back in time to tell that where'd you get your name from?
Well, I thought of it. I came up with it.
I don't believe you, man. I think you're Muslim.
Okay. Well, okay. If I was a Muslim, what would that mean?
Nothing. I
Okay.
just
So why would
think
I lie about it?
but that doesn't make you a foundational American, would it?
Okay. Your logic makes no sense. Okay. Let's
Well,
reel it back. Yep, okay. Because your troll attempt is already failing. So wow.
no,
Not
I'm
very
just
good. Now
telling you,
what
man.
part of South America are you from?
South America.
Yeah.
I'm from Atlanta, man.
No. What part of South America or Asia are you from?
What part of Africa are you from?
No,
Are
no,
you
no, no, no,
Nigerian?
no, no, no.
No,
I'm
you
finding. No,
answer
no,
me,
no,
bro.
no,
I'm
sir.
here to ask questions.
No. I'm here to get answers. Now we know
No,
that
I'm here.
we know you're a tether. What part of Tetherland are you from?
I'm I'm here to ask you questions. You
No, no,
brought
no,
me up,
no,
man.
no. Why are you? I'm from here. I'm a foundational Black American.
Nah, I think you're Nigerian, man. You've been hiding for some time. I've been listening to you.
Now, what part of either Asia or Central Africa are you from?
No, you tell me, man. I'm here to ask the questions.
No, this is not the immigration office. We don't do that. No, you're clearly from. I can hear your accent. It kind of has an Asian kind of vibe to it.
Does it?
Yeah, but I hear must flakes falling down over the phone. So you you might be Ugandan. I don't know.
Nah, I'm just fucking with you, man. I love you trolling. I'm just fucking with you. I'm here just fucking around.
Yes, indeed. All right, man. Go to rootworkstyle.com and get that deodorant going. Fuck around with that. All right, let's get some more people in here. Yeah. All right. Let's get. Let me see. Let's get Black Noble Beast. Black Noble Beast. All right. Black Noble Beast, where you at?
Good with your brother Tariq. I hope everything good going your way.
I'm good, brother. How are you? What's on your mind?
Man, shit, I'm just out here in the deep south trying to damn survive, get some money, pay my rent, pay my bills, keep it damn moving, brother. That's all I'm trying to do. But you was talking about something about that LGBT thing, about that stud, and usually when I'm gonna put it to you like this, anytime they have a show or anything that got something to do with a black person, they gonna always make us the LGBT or just make us look completely fucking stupid. I just that's the reason that's the reason why I don't really watch TV like that. Cause anytime you watch a TV show and they got like, a black character or a black cast, it's always some bullshit to it. It ain't never no normal shit to it. Always some bullshit to it.
Right. And with that character on BMF, I'm like, okay, it's just real crowbarred in. They gotta attach an agenda to our stuff every time. That's why with Power, and I love Power, not with the book two. I don't know if they're renewing that again, which was a good show. The only thing I didn't like about that were the damn Drew scenes. That brother Drew. Oh God, I hated them scenes. And the way they did it was so damn devious because they knew that the audience, us, the audience, we were hip to how they when they put Drew on the screen. That means there's going to be some LGBT stuff. All right, if that's what you want to do, cool. That means it's my commercial break. I'm going to the bathroom or something. So what they would do, they would just bring his scenes in with him bent the fuck over. The minute he's on screen, he's on top of some nigga. I'm like, God damn. So they don't even give you a chance to turn the channel or nothing. They just it goes from a drug deal and then him bent over. Like, man. So they would ambush you with the scenes of this dude bussy popping. I'm like, man, damn, I don't want to be ambushed with this shit, dude. And these shows, they ambush the audience. They'll lure you in. Like that P Valley show. It has a bunch of female strippers in it, and a dude, you're like, oh damn, look at all that ass. It's a bunch of fine female strippers, and then the next scene will be two dudes. Like, oh well, okay. All right, man. God damn. All right. So they know what they're doing. It's ambush programming. It's very deceptive. Sophia, what's up, ma'am?
Hey,
Hey Sophia, how are you?
I am doing good. I got a little offended when that guy came up there trolling, talking about your name. I got a whole Muslim name. I'm not going to say my whole name, but I got a whole Muslim name, and I'm FBA all day.
Oh yeah.
So, so I was like, I'm going to need him to take several seats back to his homeland and come up with a plan.
Exactly.
But what I was going to say is I read how white people got so rich, and I was all the way in my feelings. I don't understand why we can't make a case against them denying us life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness for generations. I don't understand how that can't be made a case to get our reparations.
Well, all we have to do, see, here's the thing, and that's a great point. The thing is, we have to become the authorities because if we make a case, we got a great case. Who do we make it to? Because what we have to do is go to other white supremacists. You understand? If we make a case, we got to present it to another damn group of white supremacists, and they're all on code. So we have to be in positions where we can act as the authoritative voice, where we can administer justice. See, that's what codification is about. That's why being on code is very important. You see, because the white supremacists are able to run things and they're globally small numbers. They're in small numbers, but they're so damn codified. They're extremely on code. That's their strength. Their strength is their codification. Nothing more, nothing less. Black folks have to understand that the thing that strengthens the white supremacists is that they are super, super, super duper on code, especially when it comes to doing harm to us. When they do harm to us, that code gets even stronger. Just like with Kyle Rittenhouse and Zimmerman. See, remember, Kyle Rittenhouse was supposed to harm black people, but he harmed some black adjacent people, so that was fine enough. That was good enough. That's why they're parading him around with these little white supremacist groups right now. Kyle. They're parading Kyle around doing these lectures in these black cities so that he can antagonize people. And the white supremacists can antagonize us by saying, hey, aha, look, one of our killers is out free doing tours and he's a hero. That's to antagonize us, you see. So we have to start getting codified so that we can say, hey, this is what it's going to be. This is what it's not going to be. So we can start calling shots. When you get codified, that's when you get to call shots. That's why whenever riots pop off around the country, that's us getting codified. We're getting on code. And that's when things kind of get done to a certain degree. The riots are so spontaneous and uprisings they're so spontaneous and sporadic and temporary. They the long lasting effects of the cohesion isn't where it's supposed to be. We're supposed to have that cohesion all the time, not just when it's a turn up. You see, we're supposed to always have that cohesion. And white supremacist society, they always have it. Because y'all got to understand, with white supremacist society, everything is warfare to them. See, Dr. John Henry Clark tried to tell us that. They look at everything as a form of warfare. Any technological advancement, how can we weaponize this? That's how they look at it. If there's a liquid that turns into foam, how can we weaponize this? That's why the military will get a hold of any kind of invention. The U.S. military will get that thing. It'll be up in the Pentagon. They're trying to improve on it to make it more weaponized. Everything is a weapon. You see. See, we, on the other hand, a lot of us, we look at everything as a turn up, as a party. You know, we look for an opportunity to just turn up just for the sake of turning up. There's nothing wrong with turning up, but just be on code with the turn up. You're turning up for a reason. You want to turn up in order to empower yourself with other groups of black folks. You want to get around other black folks. Yeah, you turn up, you have a good time so that you can kind of get to know folks and vibe with them and network with them so that when it's time to take care of business, okay, this person that I was turning up with, this person is also a lawyer, this person is also a doctor, this person is also a teacher, this person is also a business person, this person is also an architect. So you have a networking group of people to deal with. See, that's what we got to get back into, family. We got to start connecting. And there's nothing wrong with turning up, but we have to network. We have to start getting out here, vibing with people so that we can get codified with them. So when we need certain services or goods, we know who to turn to. I remember doing a lecture, oh man, where was I? Years ago on the East Coast. I met a brother um, who had a toilet paper company. He made toilet paper years ago. And he came in handy. His stuff came in handy actually when the pandemic happened. When the pandemic happened, I remember that brother's number and I ordered a bunch of toilet paper from him. Because y'all remember there was a toilet paper shortage. There was a run on the stores, so the toilet papers and all of that was short. So I remember that brother. So I hit him up. You see, the networking thing is very important. We never know who we can get down with. We needed some blueprints for the museum to take to the city. Um, One of the listeners, a brother out here in LA, came through, just did it out of love. I offered to pay him. He's like, no, I got it, brother. And this brother did these blueprints that was going to cost us like $5,000. The Mexicans and the Arabs, they're trying to charge us $6,000 for some damn blueprints. The brother came in, just did it on love. You see, the networking is very important. It's very important that we network. You see, We got to get around each other to know who's who, not to turn up just to turn up, because what happens is when you're turning up and there's no purpose to it, there's no networking to it, because again, there's nothing wrong with having a good time as long as we're networking and building with each other. It has to be constructive. When people are just partying just for the sake of partying and there's really no constructive outcome to it, that's when things start to turn negative. That's why you go to some of these little ratchet clubs somewhere, it's a fight. You know, a bunch of folks get together to turn up and dance. The minute you start seeing somebody twerking, let me tell you, the first sign of danger, let me tell you something. When I go somewhere and I see one too many women twerking, that's the first sign of danger for me. If I go somewhere and see some hood rats' asses in the air, and it ain't a strip club is different. But you go to like a regular club or a party, a house party, or some kind of event, and there's one too many hood rats' asses in the air, okay, dusty niggas come right after that. Where there's hood rats, there's fire. Where there's hood rats, dusty niggas are not too far behind. That's why Freaknik turned out. It became a bust later on down the line. That's when Freaknik became a bust. And I haven't seen that new documentary, but I got to see it. Let's go back to Freaknik. The early days of Freaknik. With Freaknik, the early days, midnight, it wasn't all about twerking on cars and all that. Some girls would turn up, but the girls would be dressed regularly and they'd just pull up on you. Hey, what's your name? What's your name? I'm such and such. Where y'all going? We going over here. Where y'all stand? And that was it. It was hooking up. Everybody was just kind of hooking up. The girls weren't really being overly ratchet. They just saw dudes and like, hey, we out here in Atlanta for the weekend. Let's hook up. Let's go to your place. You come to our place. It was that type of thing. Then a little bit later, then all the twerking and the coochie popping and pulling your thong to the side, then that started happening when Luther Campbell and those dudes start coming through. When the booty shaking on cars and all that, then it turned into something different. That's when it started to go to a different direction, when all of that twerking on cars stuff and opening your coochie on the hood of a car, then all the dusty dudes came and all the thirsty dudes started coming. Then it started going downhill because it wasn't about the hookup no more. You couldn't hook up with all these thirsty niggas running around. These no game having dudes. See, the early days of Freaknik, you kind of had it. You needed to have some game, a little bit at least. Yeah, but then when the Dusties came, and again, right after the twerking, here comes the Dusties. So again, when I see all of that little ashy twerking and all of that spells danger. There's nothing constructive that's going to come out of that, to be honest. When you see a bunch of folks twerking, the energy is not conducive for building anything. Now, if you want to lay your hair down, there's nothing wrong with a little ratchet here or there. And hey, there's nothing wrong with a little ratchetness here and there. We've all had a little ratchetness. Ladies, you've all done banged a dusty nigga. Some of y'all ladies, you probably got a dusty nigga in your house now. Let's stop playing. Ladies, sometimes y'all done been out with dudes and you saw he was a little dusty and you knew nothing wasn't going to pop off. You're like, all right, I'll throw a little coochie at this nigga and just keep it pushing. All right. That'll be my little sneaky link or whatever, but I ain't about to deal with this dusty ass dude. And fellas too. Fellas, let's keep it a buck. You know, you done went out with a couple of little Section 8 queens. You done went out, you're like, oh damn, this is a ratchet. But me smash and keep it pushing. You know. Fellas, y'all done smashed up in one of them Section 8s. You done been in there with the fire alarm beeping while you tearing that ass up. You've been there, fellas. You've been there. You've been knocking some Section 8 tang out, and you looked on that headboard and seen a roach looking back at you. We've been there. We've been there. I've bonded with a roach on the headboard before, and the roach is looking at me like, nigga, you in danger. The roach trying to warn me, nigga. You know niggas get shot in this neighborhood, don't you? Yeah. So we've been there. I'm not I'm not gonna act like I haven't smashed a ratchet or two. I have, but that's some shit that you keep on the low low. You don't glorify it. You don't glorify that at all. All right. Let's get Mike of all trades in the building. Mike of all trades. What's up, brother Marcel down there? Marcel, we got to get you for the rally June. And by the way, family, y'all throw some names. Who would y'all like to see at the rally, the new rally? We're putting that together now. We're having some meetings this week with some of the people out there in DC trying to organize the deal. Mike, what's up, brother?
Yes, sir. What's up, Flex?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I don't know if you remember, but back in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a show called The PJs.
Yeah, with Eddie
and
Murphy.
Eddie Murphy and Loretta Devine. And those kind of reminded me of the new Good Times thing. And it flopped. It was honestly Eddie Murphy's worst work.
Yeah, but because the thing is, in some of it, it was funny, but it didn't have enough balance. See, the Loretta Devine character was supposed to bring balance to it, but it wasn't enough. And it kind of engaged in a lot of stereotypes. They had crackheads and stuff like that. But the writing was funny on it. The writing was funny. I give them credit where credit. Oh, your thing is hold on. There's a little feedback there. Yeah, like the PJs. Now, the thing about the PJs with the Eddie Murphy joint, the writing was actually funny. If you do some stereotype stuff, it has to be funny. It has to be funny. If you go there, that punchline better pay off. So with the PJs, they had crackhead neighbors and the old crazy lady, this and but they tried to balance it out with Loretta Devine being kind of the voice of reason. So that saved it from just being a complete stereotype fest. The trailer for this Good Times show, it's basically white writers or non-FBA writers doing their interpretation of our culture. And it's not funny because it's based on their stereotypes. Let's go back to the PJs. The PJs, it was still black humor with a lot of inside jokes. There was a lot of inside jokes that a lot of people didn't even catch that were funny. For example, in the PJs animation, they lived in the Lawrence, what's that? Lawrence Jacob Hilton projects. And what was the name of it? The name, it was the guy, he played Joe Jackson in the original Jackson movie in the 90s. It was the Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. It was something, but it was an inside joke about him. So there were a lot of little inside jokes that you had to know that were funny, and a lot of it was based on FBA humor. So some of the jokes were funny. The Good Time stuff it's the jokes are outdated, and there are no punchlines. It's like, hey, look at all of this ratchetness going on.